Good morning. Okay, now that's a little anemic. Let's try that again. Good morning. Yes, for those of you that have arrived, well done, and I've heard you. So I want to welcome those of you that are here, and those of you that are with us online this morning. I think a few people decided that it was going to be 100 degrees, and maybe they'd rather not be in this room today. But hopefully, some more will wander in as we get started. I realize that the parking lot is full today. There are a lot of soccer games out there. My heart is with those parents sitting out in the sun with their umbrellas, but that means that it's taken people a little while to find a place to park. They're beginning to back out. Oh, I guess they had some early ones. Okay, well, that's great. So I'm Reverend Mary Marie Shelton. I'm the community spiritual leader here at Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. I'm delighted to welcome you. Thanks for being here with us this morning. And on this beautiful October morning, maybe more beautiful than some of us had hoped for. My Pacific Northwest body is looking forward to cooler temperatures. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and welcome one another. So I want to invite you to stand up and walk around, introduce yourselves to people that you don't know, welcome each other, and make one another really welcome. And those of you that are at home, go ahead and pour yourself another cup of coffee or tea, give yourself a hug, settle in and get ready for a lovely morning. In just a moment, we'll all be back together to sing. And so you can take a moment to get yourself that coffee before we come back from the good morninging. All right. All right, so find yourselves back in your seats at this point. And this morning we have Nathan Aswell's music. Nathan, as you know, is from Vancouver, British Columbia. He plays the Chapman stick, which is a very unusual instrument that can be strummed, plucked, or pressed. So that big long thing he's playing is called a Chapman stick. And Nathan does a Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock, kind of a morning musings on his Facebook page. If you ever want to join him, Nathan Aswell, and his theme of his life, kind of his message is encouraging people to live big lives, one small step at a time. So this is Nathan. He's going to lead us in a song this morning that we've sung once before a while back. So please stand and join Nathan as we begin this morning with Name It, Claim It.
Warm greetings, everyone. It's always a great pleasure for me to be with you at Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. In honor of this month's theme, Power to the People, and of today's theme, Stump Rev Mary, I'd like to kick things off with an up-tempo version of a great song by Aaron McGon called Name It, Claim It.
This is quick, so be prepared to just leap in and go for it.
When I name it, and I claim it, and then I see it everywhere. When I name it, and I claim it, and then I see it everywhere. Yes, I name love, and I claim love, and then I see it everywhere. I name love, and I claim love, and then I see it everywhere. Because it's mine, 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 the endless and everlasting love of the divine. When I name it, and I claim it, and then I see it everywhere. Well, I name it, and I claim it, and then I see it everywhere. Because it's mine, 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 the endless and everlasting love of the divine. Oh, I name it, and I claim it, and then I see it everywhere. Well, I name it, and I claim it, and then I see it everywhere. I see it everywhere. I see it everywhere.
Great, thanks. You may be seated. Thank you, Nathan. So this is the time when we go ahead and silence our cell phones and get ready to turn within and become centered together. We've done our greeting, we've done our singing, making our voices heard as one, and now we go within, in that oneness, to center ourselves and get grounded for the morning. So Lori Greer, one of our beloved prayer practitioners, is going to pray us in this morning, and this is Lori's last Sunday officially as a Golden Gate practitioner because she's moving to Reno. So we really want to love her up today. So please welcome Lori Greer.
Thank you, beloved community. So let's pray together. And so turning within to that stillness, to that presence, to that power, the infinite that knows its way into our hearts, is ever available to us, is limitless and boundless. That infinite power and presence is the one thing that is happening in all of life. And so as we drop down into this place of awareness, the recognition, the remembering of what is true, the one truth through all life, through all paths, through all that exists, is this thing that I call God. God is infinite power, infinite intelligence, wholeness and perfection. It is divine order happening everywhere in all space and time, no matter how my human eyes might see it, how it might appear to look to me. In this powerful place, in this knowing, in this alignment in consciousness with God, I remember that it is all in perfect order. The wholeness and perfection of God, everywhere present, ever available. And remembering too that this wholeness allows for everything to be made clear in each life as the path continues to unfold in myriad ways. We are reminded moment by moment that God is never confused. There is never any doubt. There is never anything wrong in what is happening, because it is simply the unfolding in consciousness, the evolution through each one, through every experience, through all that is happening right now. And so, claiming that this wholeness and perfection is right here, right now, that I am it, and it is expressing through me, I call forth and claim for each one of us to open to the divine that wants to continue to pour itself forth into greater abundance, clarity, perfect knowing, as that infinite intelligence provides for us everything that is needed every step of the way. And so I give thanks for knowing that this spoken word has power, and that as I release my word into the law, that it is known, it is made manifest, demonstrated in my life, in the life of each one here, each one in alignment with these words. And so we release it, we let it go, and we simply step aside and allow for the unfolding to reveal to us the next best thing. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Lori.
I am open to receiving divine love, so open to knowing the presence of love. I am open to receiving divine love, so open to knowing the presence of love. Open, so open, open, so open. I am open to receiving divine love, so open to knowing the presence of love. I am open to receiving divine love, so open to knowing the presence of love. Open, so open, open, so open. I am open to receiving divine love, so open to knowing the presence of love. I am open to receiving divine love, so open to knowing the presence of love. Open, so open, open, so open, open, so open, open, so open.
Grand Rising is our theme for 2023, and we are in a new month, this month of October. And because this is the month that is right on the cusp of our voting, which is a big deal, this theme for all of Centers for Spiritual Living in October is Power to the People. And I think probably it ought to be something like Power in the People, or Power as the People, or Power is the People. But Power to the People is also good, because the ability to have that freedom to make ourselves and our desires known through our voting is an enormous gift and a big power. So we want to not only acknowledge that, but also recognize the sort of the importance of the responsibility of what we are being given very soon, and to preparing ourselves on all sorts of levels to participate in that freedom in the best possible way. And so today is Stump Rev Mary Day. And what that means is that rather than doing a prepared talk, my role this morning is to answer questions, any questions that you have. So when you came in this morning. Well, not any questions that you have. Let me make that a little bit narrower than that. It's any questions you have about science of mind, religious science, Centers for Spiritual Living, Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, Ernest Holmes, teachings about Ernest Holmes, or certain questions about me, you're welcome to ask. And so you have a 3x5 card. And I'm going to ask you just write down your question on the 3x5 card. They're going to come and pick them up in just a minute. So while you're thinking about that and while you're doing that and coming up with questions for Reverend Mary. Anybody need a card or a pen? Okay, lots of people need cards and pens. Now, those of you that are at home this morning, let's see, this is a little bit more difficult for you because we can't really retrieve them from you right now. But I tell you what, if you want to send me a question, I might address it in another talk. It will mean that you'll have to come back online and watch to see if I answer your question. But send it to me at revmary@ggcsl.org, like Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living.org. And I'll do my best with those. Also, I want to let you know, because she's not here this morning because of the big celebration yesterday, but yesterday there was a 90th birthday party for Ann Landell. And it was a fabulous birthday party. So we just want to acknowledge that Ann is 90 years old. She's joined that 90-year-old, group. And we're very happy for her. I was talking at the party yesterday with a few other people, and excuse me, Elizabeth, but I pointed you out to somebody and said, well, she's 92. And the woman said, she's 90? And I went, well, yeah. As we would say, 90 is the new, 72? So anyway, we're enjoying that. That's one thing I want to let you know. Well, I'm vamping while you're writing questions. At the same time, I do want you to know these things, so keep one ear open. Also, Reverend Barbara Leger is here with us this morning, and the partnership table for Ukraine is set up over here. If you took cards home to do for the students and the teachers in Ukraine, this is the morning to bring them back and give them over there. And Reverend Barbara was just telling me that she was at a peace conference in San Francisco. It was like a big fair, and they got 1,000 cards now that they've got prepared between us and our groups and this group that was there, and a whole bunch of the San Francisco State students got really fired up by what they're doing in Ukraine and want to help Barbara. So she's here this morning. We want to congratulate her for that accomplishment and all that's going on, and also let you know that every month, the first Sunday of the month, the partnership table is going to be set up, and we'll continue to do cards for Ukraine. Yeah. So, yeah. Did you want to say something, Barbara, before they... Oh, great. So you can still bring your cards back if you still have some. Or take new ones, and then those will come back the first week in November. And they're going to send all these cards out to students and teachers all over Ukraine to encourage them with messages from all of us saying, we know what's going on, we're with you, we love you, hang in there, be strong, keep peace in your heart, whatever your message is. Yeah. So that's one thing that I want to let you know. Are we ready to go ahead and receive the questions?
I have them already. So
great. Any other questions? Just send them to the middle. Send them in the middle aisle if there are other questions, and Paula will come and get them. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So somebody said to me, doesn't it make you nervous to have people just come up with questions that you have to answer? And I said, no, it really doesn't. I mean, I'm really okay with saying I don't know, or I'm not going to answer that, as well as trying to answer it. And I always say that this Sunday, this Stump the Minister Sunday, the theme really is you pretend you have questions and I'll pretend I have answers, okay? So the first question right off the top is an easy one. When did you first experience God? Oh, Lynn has a question there too. Yeah. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure I ever didn't kind of know. And I think that that's the case because, and I'm making this up because I don't know for sure, but I think that that's the case because my father died right after I turned 3, and I was very close to my father. And so in our Catholic family, the belief was that life goes on, that people have left their bodies, but they still live on. And my mother said something to me at that time that I did not consciously remember for many years. I mean, I still don't remember consciously. She told me about it because a friend of mine in high school, my freshman year in high school, was killed in a boating accident. And I went to the rosary evening when they have an open casket to say goodbye to him. And I told my mother when I came home, I went to say goodbye to Pat and I couldn't do it because he wasn't there. I said that I recognized the body in the coffin, but Pat wasn't there. And Mom said, that's so interesting. When your father died, you were very angry with me. And you said to me, why didn't you give him aspirin like you do me when I'm sick? It wasn't the kind of thing aspirin would have helped at that point. But and I didn't understand what death was about. And she said, I don't know why this idea came to me. She said, I said to you, see the flowers in the vase on the table? She said, the flowers have been picked, so they still look fine, but as they sit there separate from their roots, those flowers are going to die. Now, when they die, the flowers will still be there, but whatever it was that made them alive will be gone. And what a profound thing to say. So I think I probably didn't understand it at the time, but I kind of stored it somewhere in my consciousness. The idea that somewhere that life continues. And so my conscious memory of experiencing God, I think, was probably in high school when I was walking on the beach at the end of my senior year, or maybe it was my junior year, trying to decide where I was going to go to college, whether I was going to go to Seattle U or the University of Washington. I had a scholarship to Seattle U, a Catholic college. My family wanted me to go there. It was smaller. But I was kind of fascinated with the University of Washington. I was on a class retreat at the ocean, and I went for a walk by myself thinking about this whole college thing. And I walked way down the beach, and I turned around to come back, and I realized on my way back down the beach that I knew where I was going to go to college. I did not make a decision. I just knew. And when I think back on that awareness, that information was clear to me without a conscious decision, was like a divine inspiration. It was an experience I never quite had before of knowing without knowing how I knew. It turned out to be the right decision for me. So I kind of have felt supported all the way along in my life by the unseen. And I guess I've never really spent a lot of time doubting that, even when I felt disconnected from it. That's a very long-winded answer. I'll try to be briefer. Here's a long question. Oh, thank you. What does science and mind teach, and what do you believe about dark energy and forces of negative energy influencing conditions? Is there a realm that most of us cannot reach where that energy is making an impact? I don't believe in dark energy as a thing in itself. What I believe in is energy. And then I believe that all of us have the power to use that energy creatively, and that some of us choose badly. And we make decisions that are hurtful to other people or ultimately hurtful to ourselves. We do things to try and forward ourselves that cause pain or discordancy or discomfort or separation in the world that some of us look at and think of as evil or dark or negative. And it is a reflection of, I believe, our misunderstanding that we cannot be separated from God or each other. We don't make those kinds of choices that are us and them unless we are feeling the pain of separation and believing that that's real. And that's where we make those really negative choices. Anytime we get very mad at somebody else and we want to scream at them or punch them or leave the room or whatever it is we want to do, that's a painful moment when we feel separate from somebody else, where we feel disconnected from something larger than ourselves, or we may feel disconnected from ourselves, and we take some kind of an action in that moment that probably, if we were clear, we would choose not to do that. But all of that, whether large or small, comes out of this mistaken belief that to forward ourselves, we have to step on somebody else. Or to get things to work for us, we have to control somebody else, or we have to deny somebody else's rights in order to magnify our own. Those are false ideas. And when we act on false ideas, we can still manifest stuff that isn't, it matches the idea. It's painful, it's dark, it's difficult, but it doesn't have energy in and of itself. It arises out of an action that came from a false idea. So when that idea gets questioned and gets neutralized, then some of that other stuff also gets neutralized that came out as a result of it. So I think that we have the capacity as human beings to bring forth a lot of light. We also have the capacity to bring forth darkness. It's up to us. It's not about an energy separate from us that has its own negativity, that's like contagious thing that is an actual force or energy or consciousness. Anyway, that's my opinion. When we transition, where do we go? There's nowhere to go. It isn't a where. When we leave our physical form, now, let me issue a caveat here. I don't know. How would I know? I don't remember. But here's what I think. Because I believe that God is omnipresent. That's everywhere, all the time, without exception, past, present, future, all at once, everywhere, in its entirety, in every atom, or whatever is smaller than that, a photon, and permeating everything that isn't even in form. That presence is all there is. So we temporarily express part of that presence this way, and then when we leave this, we take this unique manifestation of energy that we are, and that goes with us as we leave this physical form, but we may be freed into, tell them spirit is already making a house call right where they are. They don't need to call for it, it's right there. And they should come on down immediately because they're missing something. What was the question? Okay. So when we go back into that unformed place, I don't know that we just merge into all the energy and lose all sense of individualization. I kind of don't think that's what happens. I know people believe that. A lot of people believe that. If you believe that, that's great. There's no reason not to. I happen to believe that we maintain our sense of individualization so that as a soul, we can continue to grow and learn and create until we become completely aware of the fullness of who we are, not just as an idea, but as an experience of the wholeness of the godness that we're part of, that we are, in essence, part of. In Buddhist teachings, they say that all of us are living these lives over and over again, moving toward that place of re-merging into the one, into the wholeness, into the one consciousness. And that bodhisattvas in the Buddhist tradition are those who have gone all the way to the edge of that, where they could, at any moment, if they wanted to, leap into the oneness. But they want to wait for the rest of us. So the idea of the bodhisattva is that they hang back just a little bit until every blade of grass is enlightened. And then we all jump in together. Hello, there we go, yeah. So, I don't know where we go. We get to discover that. But because people have kind of gone and come back, you know, those that have had near-death experiences have kind of gone and come back, seems to me that we do have a lot ahead of us on the other side to discover and learn. And, you know, when we get there, we'll find out. And you could say to me, Reverend Mary, you were right. Or, you know, you didn't have any idea what you were talking about. What is the best way to pray for someone who is dying? Depends on whether you're praying out loud with them or you're praying for them within yourself. If you're praying for them within yourself and you know they're dying and they know they're dying, then pray for a peaceful transition. Pray for a peaceful unfoldment into the next life for their highest and best. And if you're not sure if they're going to recover or they're going to die, you can pray for their highest and best, for their greatest freedom, for their most tremendous experience of aliveness. Whatever that needs to be, that's what that will be. If you are, for example, visiting somebody who is not of the faith that you're of, and they want you to pray with them, then it's useful if you have more ideas about what they believe so that you can pray with that rather than against the grain of that. If that means in Jesus' name or the prophet, may peace be upon him, whoever it may be, whatever their angle may be, try to use words in your prayer that support that belief for them. I've talked to our ministers who've been chaplains who have learned that you can't pray for everybody like a religious scientist if you're really going to be there and be of comfort to them. Not everybody has a clue what you're doing when you do that. And so sometimes it's, you know, oh dear God, I pray now for so-and-so in Jesus' name, knowing that they are moving into their next life peacefully, easily, with all the support that they need, that the angels carry them. You know what I mean? If you're doing it for somebody who is Christian and has that belief, there's nothing to say you cannot do that, okay? So pray in the way that's going to be most meaningful for them and for you without feeling like you're betraying yourself. God doesn't care. You think that God is looking, going, well, you know, those words are not accurate. Why are you saying that? You know better than that. No, God knows the intention of the heart. And that is what's important in that prayer. I suppose that maybe one of the things this person is asking is, do you pray for them to get well? You can. I tend to want to pray for their greatest aliveness and well-being so that if their soul is ready and wants to go on, it can. And if it's not their time and they're going to get well, then why not pray for the highest and best for that? So since I don't know, I may pray that way. When spiritual mind treatment, that's our form of prayer, doesn't work because of early childhood trauma. No, wait. When spiritual mind treatments don't work because of early childhood trauma comes up to heal, how do I hold that space without being overwhelmed by pain and sadness? Science of mind space while you're experiencing traumatic healing. That's the time to work with a practitioner. When we are experiencing trauma, we need help to get through that. If you're experiencing the sadness, the pain of the trauma, then use affirmations for yourself, but get a treatment from a practitioner or see a practitioner several times to pray for you. They're not enfolded in your trauma so they can see the truth for you when you can't get there emotionally because of what's happening inside of you. And it isn't that the treatment doesn't work, it's that the space that we want to be in consciousness to do that prayer, we can't get to from that place. That doesn't mean it doesn't work. It means that it's up to us to lean on someone else's faith to help us move through that. to surrender to them speaking the prayer for us, and for us to take whatever homework they give us, whether it's affirmations or visualization or going for walks outside or getting a massage or smelling the flowers, that we do that part, and our job is just to trust that their faith knows what it's doing. Because it's too hard when we're doing it for ourselves. If I'm wrapped up in fear and worry about somebody in my family, I can't treat for them well because I get into the treatment and then I wander off into worrying. Have you experienced that? It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong or that the treatment doesn't work. It means you're not the one to be doing that praying right then. You need a practitioner. You can always call our dial a prayer number, our dial an inspiration number, and listen to the treatment for that day. That's available 24/7. And the number is in your Sunday bulletin. You can call that anytime and listen to that recorded message. Those are our practitioners. They put something new up every single week. You can get a prayer on Sunday or put a request in the prayer box. You can ask one of our practitioners on duty at the prayer table to please pray for you after the service. All those things are available. You can make a prayer request under the resources tab on our website, and that goes to our prayer tree. Do that when you're immersed in that kind of experience. Please remind us again the Science of Mind philosophy perspective on the upcoming November election, how to hold such a scary time as this. Thanks. So, you know, I'm remembering something that Reverend Barbara actually used to always say to her people in Ukraine. We get the government we deserve. What she means by that, or I'm going to take those words and make them my own now, is we get what is a reflection of our consciousness as a country. That's what we draw into our experience. So the best thing that we can do right now is be envisioning the highest good coming forward in terms of a world that works for everyone, which is what Science of Mind stands for. Now, in order to do that, then, when you go to vote, you have to vote from your deepest heart, from your greatest clarity, from your highest values, what you feel is right within you. Nobody can tell you who that should be or what that should be in terms of issues or candidates, because that's not right. It's up to your guidance to guide you. We together as a country hopefully do some version of that so that we bring forward the results for this time. Now, recognize too that I think this, and this is me, so this is the gospel according to Mary, you don't have to believe this, that you know, it's very interesting. I was going to say something and it went right out of my head. So apparently that's not something I need to say to you. When we bring forward a new result, when we vote and we bring forward a new result and it looks not like what we wanted, we don't know but what that is a necessary step to where we're trying to go somehow. That is moving us in a direction because of what it looks like. It galvanizes and moves us in a direction that we need to be inspired to move toward. So as we approach this election right now, what I would say is do what you can do to set aside fear. You don't want to be voting out of fear because that's what you're going to manifest, more fear. We don't need to do that. So we have in our own lifetime seen governments that did a lot of good stuff. And we've seen governments that did not do so much good stuff. Who we think that is, we're probably divided in our opinions about that. But what I want you to think about is how good it feels to you to feel like things are going in the right direction and that people are making good decisions. Feel what that feels like and envision that as the feeling that's coming forward in our country for all of us. You know, it would be lovely if what we began to do is recognize that just because our neighbor has a placard posted in their front yard that is of a candidate we don't like, that doesn't mean we cut that neighbor out. You know, if that person's house is on fire, we still go with the buckets and get people off the street and help everybody out. If there's a problem, we serve, we jump in. That's our role. We don't have to agree with everybody about everything, and they don't have to agree with us, but we can treat each other with kindness nevertheless. And maybe what's more important than the election even is that we begin to treat each other with kindness. You know, we think that our government is supposed to do all these things. The government cannot do stuff that we can't do, that we're not willing to do ourselves. Yeah? So the transformation has to start here. And so we set aside fear. We look at that fear and we say, no. No, you're busy trying to take over control, but no, thanks for sharing. But you're not serving me right now. I'm going to step into vision, optimism, love. What did you want to say, Barbara? Some of our people are doing that, yeah. Yeah. You know, people online can't hear you, Barbara, so can you wrap it up so I can summarize what you're saying? So the Spiritual Living Center is the name of it. The Spiritual Living Center in Atlanta, which is one of our churches. If you look them up, you can see the meditations for the 100 days leading up to the election. And they have on that website got all the past ones as well. And you can listen to those. They're a couple of minutes long, these recordings, every single day. So those are one of the ways to help yourself stay centered, is to listen to those. Are we really able to connect with our loved ones when we pass? Well, you know, once again, I don't know. I don't know. Because I'm not sure that they don't take on another life at some point and go on someplace else to do the next thing. You know, if reincarnation happens, then part of them or all of them may be busy doing that. I don't know. If we live parallel lives in parallel universes all at the same time, then maybe we're all out busy someplace else and we just encounter each other someplace else. Maybe we go hang out with our family after we pass on, or our friends from whenever, wherever. I have no idea. But it does seem like we encounter people that we know from those that we have heard from. That have had near-death experiences, that they have encountered people that they knew, family members or other loved ones. And whoever goes next, let us know. Because that's a question that we'd really like to know the answer to. What is Science of Mind's belief about physical ailments? Science of Mind's belief about everything that looks like a negative condition is that it comes about because of consciousness, because of our individual consciousness or our shared consciousness. It doesn't mean that we're doing it wrong, but it does mean that something wants to be revealed or known or healed or corrected or rethought in a new way. And that when the original metaphysicians back in the 20s were doing this, they were focused on physical healing. They were focused on that because the quality of medicine was so crummy that usually, well, I shouldn't say usually, but a lot of times the person was worse off if they saw a doctor than if they didn't. So they were relying on spiritualists as healers. And so Christian Science was already doing that kind of work. Ernest Holmes was trained in Christian Science. Ernest Holmes is our founder. He had become a practitioner. He actually then began to work with ministers in divine science. He got ordained in divine science, and then he created This is the only thing that Ernest Holmes put together himself. Everything else he borrowed from someplace else. He put together our form of prayer, spiritual mind treatment, where he said, if we know that God is all there is, if we really know that, if we really know that we are that in expression, and we know that that means that mind and all of those qualities are within us as well, then all that same wholeness and harmony is also where we are. And this temporary condition is just passing show. It's not real, but it is real as a condition that has to be dealt with somehow. He never said we shouldn't go to doctors or dentists or therapists or anything like that. He said that in science of mind, the practitioner works with the other medical professionals to support us in moving through that experience back into an awareness of our wholeness, back to the original template of wholeness that we are. Now, that's the big answer to the question, which leaves us with the idea that anything should be able to be healed, which I think theoretically from a science of mind standpoint is true. Although Ernest Holmes did say that sometimes the body has been so damaged by the illness process that it really is too late to rejuvenate it and bring it back. Also, I've had the experience of being with people in the hospital where it was my experience that there was nothing going on in their consciousness to bring this experience about that landed them in the hospital that I could see. But what I saw was that their presence was such a light, it was having a healing effect on doctors and nurses who were interacting with them. They were becoming more optimistic, lighter. They would be smiling every time they came into this person's room. And their family members were getting healing in their relationships and their connections with each other. And I think this individual isn't in the hospital because they need to heal something in their consciousness. They're here as a service to all these other people, whether they know it or not, to bring them light and healing. That's really what this is about. So it isn't always obvious where the challenge in the thinking is, because we create collectively as well as individually. So physical ailments sometimes are what wake us up to something and give us a greater connection with God. So sometimes the appearance of a physical ailment is the healing taking place. I know that sounds weird, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it's in the midst of that challenge that somebody finds their connection to God. All of a sudden, it happens. They never had it before until they face this dire illness. Do you remember the genocide in Rwanda? Remember when that was happening? Immaculée Ilibagiza was part of a family of Tutus who were being slaughtered by their neighbors. She was in hiding with a bunch of other Tutsis, in a bathroom in a minister's house that was blockaded so that nobody knew they were in there. And they were in there for something like 11 months. There wasn't even room for all of them to sit down at the same time. And so, because she was Christian, what she would do is every day she would stand there with her eyes closed and she would just pray to be one with Jesus the whole time. That's all she did. And she had, over the course of that 11 months in that room, the most profound experience of connection with God that transformed her forever. Now, that was a horrendous situation for her to be in, and yet, even with that, that could be used for her own unfoldment. God didn't waste that time with her. Do you know what I mean? So the appearances of what's off, just to decide there's something wrong with that is a little oversimplified, I think. So even for us in science of mind, be humble. We don't always know. How can we best forgive someone? Barbara?
I just want to share. I was in Rwanda
Oh.
doing some work at the United Nations, and I was conducting a workshop with 50 people. And at one point in time during the workshop, somebody stopped me because we were talking about losing lives. And this fellow, they were talking about their families, said that he had 8 kids. And he was very young. He was like 25 or 28. So I started teasing him about, being this big butt, good-looking guy. And at the break, one of the people pulled me aside and said, "Bart, do you know why he has 8 kids?" And I said, "No." He said, "Because his entire family was killed during the genocide." And so we came back to the group, and I said, "I am so sorry." I said, "As an American, I've never had to go through anything like this." And we went around the group. There was not one person in that entire group of 50 people that had not lost their immediate family members, whether it was a father, brother, sister, child. And so it was just such an insight about what other people have gone through around the world that we as Americans have never had to experience or see.
I'm just going to summarize what you've been saying for people who are watching online. So Barb Gallion was saying she was in Rwanda right after it happened, and she was teasing a fellow there, a young man who had said he had 8 kids. He had them because the families had been decimated, and he'd taken all these kids in. His family had been decimated. Everybody in the room with her who wasn't American had lost people because they had been brutally murdered by their neighbors. So these are things that we haven't gone through, haven't experienced. How can we best forgive someone? Forgiving is a process. It's not a decision, or it's a decision we make over and over again. It's about letting go of allowing some memory to continue to victimize us or hurt us, because we're the ones doing it after a while. When it happens, somebody did something, it hurt us, that's over. Then the hurting of it is every time we remember it, we hurt ourselves with it again. When we stop doing that and we go neutral on it, we have forgiven them. Not that they have showed remorse, not that they have been punished, not that they finally get it what they did. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is letting ourselves off the hook from carrying that around with us anymore and saying, that's done. That's done. I'm not carrying that anymore. That's not going to hurt me or affect me anymore. I'm going to let it go. And it takes a while to do that. Sometimes I think we have to grieve what we lost in that. We have to grieve that before we can let it go. And so doing the workshops with Leslie that she's been doing on sacred grieving is a really good way to move toward that forgiveness process. What is your favorite Holmes book? My favorite Ernest Holmes book is this thing called You. I love that little book. What is your favorite saying of Ernest Holmes? My favorite saying of Ernest Holmes, I think, is one that always makes me laugh. Well, there's 2 of them, actually. The other one doesn't make me laugh, but this one does. He says, and I may be paraphrasing this a little, but he says, if you have not begun to love everyone, do so immediately. Now, I find that so funny because, of course, he says it like, and then go and get a donut. And next it's world peace, like it's just an easy thing to do. But I love that because he's basically saying, you want friends in the world? If you want to create friends, be a friend. If you start treating people with love, you're going to find people who want that, and they're going to treat you with love in response. Yes, he says something like, if you have not begun to love everybody, do so at once. Do so immediately. My other favorite saying of his is, expectancy speeds progress. And that also comes from this thing called You. It's expectation will disappoint you. But expectancy, being in that expectant state of good, that's like little kids, before their birthday or Christmas. They are expecting, they don't know what, but they're expecting something good. That's what we want to do. How do we connect with others who we have labeled? Ooh, it's really good. If you can sit down and have a conversation with somebody about their life and tell them about your life, pretty soon you're going to feel connected to them. You have to step aside from whatever it is that, is weirding you out. And say, tell me more about where you grew up or what your family was like, or where were you in the family? Did you have siblings? Just find out about them. And you'll discover that you have things in common, even though you haven't come to the same conclusions about yourself or life. When do you plan to retire? Are you getting tired of me? Well, when do you plan to retire? I don't, actually. I don't have a plan to retire. Not that I'm, well, thank you. I don't plan to be like that professor in Harry Potter who, falls asleep in front of the fire and gets up one day without his body and goes right on teaching. I'm not going to do that, I don't think. But how did you discover science of mind, and what was it that made you decide to become a practitioner and minister? Okay, I got to give you the Reader's Digest version because we have to wrap this up. I discovered science of mind in 1977. 1977. I'd gone to a personal growth training. I knew, I wasn't Catholic anymore, but I wasn't sure what it was I was looking for. Actually, I spent about a year after that just doing a course in miracles until I started missing spiritual community, and I went looking for, in my mind at that time, the least offensive Christian church I could find. Never occurred to me to look at Eastern religions or anything else. Didn't occur to me. But somebody invited me to check out this weird sounding church in Ballard area. Church of Religious Science. That sounded really weird to me. But I noticed that they had this thing called Dial-in Inspiration, so I decided to call that number and just listen. And I told myself, if he says anything about the blood of Jesus, I'm hanging up. Well, he passed, so I went to the service the next Sunday, and it was all I could do to keep from leaving my mouth hanging open during the entire service, because he was saying all this stuff that I believed that I never expected to hear in a church. That hooked me. And then eventually, because I was doing announcements on Sunday, I was standing up at the platform doing announcements on Sunday, and somebody said to me, have you thought about going to the School of Ministry? You really should do that. You'd be great at it, And I had a theater background. I was like, that's real funny, God. What's your second choice? But eventually, the universe sort of nudged me into this, and so I hadn't taken a lot of science of mind classes yet. I'm telling you something they don't let you do, and they didn't let you do it then. I went in to talk to the registrar so he could talk me out of it. And he said, Mary, in my experience, all the best ones come in kicking and screaming. Just sign up for the classes. And I said, well, okay, I'll do that in the fall. This was like April, May. He said, no, if you wait until the fall, you'll never get in. You don't have enough science of mind classes yet. He said, you have to start this summer, then you'll be grandfathered in with the new regulations. So I ended up taking ministerial classes, science of mind and practitioner classes at the same time. They do not let you do that anymore. They didn't let you do it then. And I also talked to my minister and tried to get him to talk me out of it too. And he said, Mary, if any of us waited until we were ready to do this, none of us would ever do it, least of all me. He said, please just sign up and take the classes. So nobody was going to let me off the hook. So I took one class that summer. It was called Leadership and Your Self-Esteem. It was 10 weeks long, and I cried through the entire thing. I was halfway through ministerial school before I realized I really was going to become a minister. The universe is gentle with me sometimes when I'm slow. This will be the last one. Sorry, you guys, for the ones I didn't get to. When treating on one thing, if we then feel fear or doubt, are we turning the faucet on and off? Do we make any progress? I tell you what, when you feel fear or doubt, two things. First of all, look at that doubt or that fear and say, I'm sorry, no. You don't have control over this. You don't have charge of this. Let go, move on. You're not at the steering wheel now. You do not have power over me. You can be there. I can feel you, but I'm not giving my power over to you. Secondly, maybe adjust your treatment to bring yourself confidence in that area instead of fear. Move the attention of your treatment to putting that fear and doubt to rest. let that become what your treatment is about, and see your practitioner. All right. I got to stop there because we're already out of time. I love doing questions on Sundays, and I can get a little long-winded. So I thank you for your attention and your time in doing this. Yeah. And thank you for your patience, those of you online, because normally I just do a talk. But today, instead, we talked. So let's take a moment and turn within for prayer. Let's know this together. There is a divine presence at the center of everything. And in this one mind, everything that needs to be known is known. There is harmony and wholeness and infinite creativity right there. And every one of us emerges out of that one, chosen. We are unique expressions of the divine because the divine has need of us exactly as we are, or we'd be someone else. So all of the qualities and the mind of God are right where we are, available to us. This is true of me. It's true of everyone in this room, all those online, anyone hearing this anywhere. We are that. Therefore, what we need to know, the mind of God within us knows. And the mind of God within us is never confused about how to bring forward into our awareness and experience what we need to know. So we claim in confidence, in faith, in peace, right now, that deep divine knowingness is in us, and that we surrender to it now in full faith that it does the highest and best for us, and that whatever we need to know to live from the highest and best for ourselves is drawn to us irresistibly, and we are compelled to act upon it by the very nature that we are, the essence of what we're made from. I claim this week coming forward to be a week filled with awareness and blessings and delight, and that our attention is attuned to notice and respond with delight to those flashes of brilliance and beauty and color and joy that make their way into our awareness. I am grateful for this in my own life and in all our lives. I'm grateful for the creative law that does this work. And so I let it go into that law now to be manifested in form and being and experience for us all. With such deep gratitude and willingness, then, we let this prayer go into the law, and together we say, and so it is. Yes. I invite you to stand and join me now for the morning affirmation. Together. The infinite is never confused or doubtful. It is infinite intelligence and energy. I'm made from that wholeness. Whatever I need to know is known right now where I am. I am receptive, welcome, and open to this knowing. And so it is. You may be seated. This is our sacred giving time. If you are online and you want to text a donation to Golden Gate this morning, we would love that. Just text the dollar amount you want to give to the number on the screen and then follow the directions. For those in this room, if you've brought your tithes and offerings today, we're going to bless those with one voice in just a moment. But all of us in this room, we are the blessing and the gift. Especially if you're here with us for the first time, then this morning your presence here with us is your gift. I'll tell you more about that in a little while. So let's take and hold the offering over our hearts, or just put your hand over your heart as blessing yourself, and we say this together now. You at home say this out loud too and put your hand over your heart. This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is.
This is what I know. We are all connected. The universe reflected in each shining part. And everywhere I go, I recognize the faces. All of my relations in this one heart. All I need is already looking through these eyes. Nearer than my breathing, closer than hands and feet. We are dreaming together all the gifts of heaven and earth. And so I receive all I can be. This is what I know. We are all connected. The universe reflected in each shining part. And everywhere I go, I recognize the faces. All of my relations in this one heart. All I need is already looking through these eyes. Nearer than my breathing, closer than hands and feet. We are dreaming together all the gifts of heaven and earth. And so I receive all I can be. Now I let it go with such appreciation, with sheer exhilaration. Now I set it free, and so it is, so be it. When I sing it, I can see it. I welcome us in, and now we begin. Amen. 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 Amen.
So we do, all of us, on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, accept this offering. And we send it out into the world with the idea that people can learn that they do have the wisdom and the oneness within them already. And so it is. Thanks, Dave. If you're with us for the very first time this morning, I want to draw your attention to the table at the back of this group of chairs where Galen is standing up. Go back and get yourself a welcome packet. And you can pick up any of the other handouts that are back there. But in the welcome packet, there's a blue card. Fill that out and give it to Galen, and she's going to give you a small book as our thank you gift to you for being here today. And it's also an invitation to come back and be with us in the future, so that every time you see that little book, you'll know that's your invitation. It's time to come back. And we look forward to getting to know you. I want to especially thank everybody that helped make this morning happen by setting everything up. And I especially want to draw your attention to the Frost family's magnificent Halloween altar over here. Make sure you come up and take a good look at this, because it's really great. And I particularly like this cobwebby black tableclothy lace thing that's over here. So make sure you come and take a good look at that. And let's acknowledge everybody who's in service today. Also, if you are having a birthday in October, and this is also for Ann Langell, even though she's not here today, let's sing happy birthday. So if you have an October birthday, would you stand? Oh, Reverend Barbara, great. And Randy, and Tom, and Jet, and good heavens, you people everywhere having their birthdays right and left. Okay, well, let's sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear October. Happy birthday to you. We celebrate you. We're glad you're here. Now, right over here where Lori's sitting, I want you to imagine a keyboard and a wonderful new music director and a room full of people jumping up and down and singing, because that's going to be us when we find our new music director. So please take time during your week to just close your eyes and envision this area filled with music and all of us uplifted and enlivened by it. We're very enthused by that vision unfolding. Also, this is a special announcement.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Karen Drucker.
I'm Gary Lynn Floyd.
And we are doing a women's retreat together. Yes, it's a women's retreat.
Featuring one dude.
Yes, one dude.
That'd be me.
That'll be him. And we're going to be doing music and just a group process and laughter and great food and walks in nature and all this kind of stuff. And it's going to be at the Nanda Retreat Center. Where is that, Gary?
It is in
Nevada
City.
And that's, where is that? About 2 hours outside of Sacramento, about an hour and a half.
Outside of Reno. It's right in the middle.
Easy to get to. And it's going to be October 25th through the 27th. But wait, there's more.
If you'd like to begin your retreat a day early, we're going to have a concert on the 24th in Grass Valley at the Unity of the Gold Country.
There you go. And we're doing that as a little optional thing if you want to come in early, and then you could have, massages at Ananda Village and take walks in nature that day, but then we'll start on Friday night. So this is Friday, October 25th through Sunday the 27th, and it's going to be a small, intimate group, so if you're interested, register early. And what else do I want to say?
I just want to say I did this retreat last year, and it was a phenomenal experience to be the only dude in a retreat of women.
Yes.
I can't wait for this time. It's going to be wonderful.
Lots of music. You don't have to know our songs. Just come and sing with an open heart. You will be transformed, and you will have a faith lift by the time you're done.
Oh, nice.
So we hope we see you.
We love you.
All right. So that's available. That is Ananda. That's what she's saying. Ananda Village in Nevada City. Sacred Service Opportunity is coming up November 12th at the San Francisco Marin Food Bank in the warehouse. Talk to Ellen Nicosia. Ellen's right here, the lovely woman in green, if you'd like to be part of that team, so she can get you signed up for that. It's only noon to 2 once a month, so you're only volunteering for November. It's easy. We are ready for healthy snack signups. Yes, please. You would sign up to bring snacks one Sunday a month. First, second, third, fourth Sunday a month, and the sign-up sheets are back here on this table so that we all can enjoy snacks after the service. So please remember that, take advantage of that. Also, there's a new sign-up sheet back there. If you would like somebody to phone you at home, if you don't have time after the service usually to see a practitioner at the table, you can sign up to have a practitioner phone you at home to do a brief prayer with you over the phone. This is not a practitioner session. Those are longer and they're separately scheduled. But you can sign up back there if you think that you would like to have that happen. Also, our practitioner table is available this morning, and Ann and Leslie are here to pray with you after the service. Practitioners, now would you please surround the room? As we turn within one final time to bless this morning. So let's know together, right now, in our hearts, that this morning is blessed, that everyone around us in it is blessed, that the presence of God that flows through all that is, flows through every conversation that we have, every thought we think, every sip of coffee that we take, every bite of a snack that we enjoy, that we are replenished and refilled by this divine presence, and delight in this day lives in us now. We bless this and let it go with love, stepping into this day in that way, and so it is. Please stand and join us for the closing blessing and song right now. Oh, and by the way, we are in the Jewish High Holy Days. Lashana Tova is a Happy New Year, and Lashana Tova Tikatevu is may you be inscribed in the book of life for another year to have a wonderful, happy year. I'm blathering, but that's generally what it means. So, Happy New Year, those of you that are celebrating the High Holy Days. And let's say this together now. I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for spirit and all people and I are one eternally. And so it is. And here's our Ricky
Thanks very
Byers
much,
closing.
everyone, for being here this morning. I'd like to take us out with a great song by Ricky Byers called Holy, Holy Way.
We join him on the second line each time.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall. Let me learn from all the ways I fall. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing. Let me share the good that's overflowing. And let me care for those around the world. Let me care for those around the world. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way.